Hello, fellow mompreneurs. Welcome to the Real Moms Podcast, the go-to space for resilient entrepreneurs who are striving for abundant living. I'm your host, Shae Spitz, a mompreneur and a realtor here in Columbus, Nebraska. Are you a mom juggling the hustle of entrepreneurship, family life, and personal growth? Well, you're in the right place. On this podcast, we dive deep into the real, unfiltered stories of incredible women who are navigating the journey of mompreneurship. We'll celebrate the victories, share practical insights, and acknowledge that it's okay to face challenges along the way. Success isn't about the destination. It's about the journey and the growth we experience as we balance our careers and the chaos of family life. Whether you're a seasoned mompreneur or just starting on this exciting path, join me and our amazing guests as we explore what it truly means to be a resilient entrepreneur striving for abundant living. Get ready for real, raw, and remarkable conversations that will inspire and uplift you. Because here at the Real Moms Podcast, we believe in the power of community, authenticity, and the strength that comes from embracing the journey together. So grab your coffee, find a cozy spot, and let's dive into the world of mompreneurship. This is the Real Moms Podcast, where we celebrate the hustle, honor the struggle, and thrive as resilient entrepreneurs living abundantly. Welcome to Real Moms, where resilient entrepreneurs create abundant lives for themselves and their families. Before we jump into today's conversation, I'd love your support. If you're inspired by what you hear today, hit that subscribe button, leave us a 5-star review, and share this episode with another mom who's building her business and her dreams. Your reviews and shares help us spread the message that moms can truly have both success in business and abundance at home. So let's dive in. I love to start every episode off with a motivational quote, and today's quote is, "Design is not just how something looks, it's how it works and how it makes people feel." So it's simple but powerful, and it perfectly reflects the kind of creativity and purpose our guests bring to her work and her life. And that brings us to today's guest. So today we have Nisha. She is the co-founder of FromWhere, the platform turning beautifully designed spaces into shoppable experiences. If you've ever walked into a vacation rental and thought, where did this come from? Her company was built to answer exactly that. Her career journey spans advertising agencies in Los Angeles, in-house healthcare marketing, consulting, and now co-founding a company with her husband, David. FromWhere launched in 2024, 2025, and today features over 200 storefronts showcasing hosts, designers, and curated spaces across the country. She's also a mom of two, building a business, raising a family, and providing that creativity and entrepreneurship can thrive right alongside motherhood. So welcome to the Real Moms Podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that intro.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously we were talking prior to this. Tell me a little bit about where FromWhere came from.
Yes, it's funny because I find myself unrelated saying from where. Someone will say something and be like, from where? And I'm like, oh.
It was perfect. It was perfect.
Yeah, it basically started just with a simple question that I found myself, or my husband and I found ourselves asking. And it was during our travels. We would be noticing different items and thinking like, where do you think they got that from? We dove in and we did a little bit of research and tried to figure it out if there was something that already existed or if people would use something like this. And it turned out that people loved the idea. We ran with it and here we are.
So I have an Airbnb, and it used to be a church for many years. Since it was built to be a church in 1970, it got moved to the location that it's at now. We bought it in 2021, if I remember right, and it actually sat vacant for 2 years. So it sat vacant, the church had moved, and it sat vacant there. So we went in, we renovated it, and now it is an Airbnb. How does that work? Because as I had said before, I've had some people like, oh, that's beautiful, I love that, where'd you get it, blah, blah, blah. How does that work? So if I were to say, hey, Nisha, I want you to come in here and have this storefront from me. But I also see, because you had mentioned that people can buy the mattresses. Then if somebody buys my mattress, now I have to go buy another mattress. I'm like, oh, that's so much work.
So that's a great question. And it's like even simpler than that. There are a couple of questions I'll address. So one is if you wanted to have a storefront for your property, you would just go on our website, you'd sign up. It literally takes a minute. We need your like URL, the listing URL basically. And then like our team can start building it by just looking at the listing photos, things that can be easily identified. Of course, things like mattresses, linens, all of those things, we need your input so that we can get it right. Because a big part of what we do is this like experiential side of it, like where someone uses something and then that's how they know they want it because they've actually lived with it and touched it and experienced it. But we get it started for you and then we send it to you for approval and you can let us know what you want added or removed. And then your listing goes live. If somebody buys something from your storefront, so say you have the little plaque in your property, they scan it because they want to shop your space, they purchase your mattress, they are actually getting the mattress shipped to them and you're getting a commission of that margin of that sale.
So they're not actually buying the item that's in the property. Yes. Oh,
so they're buying that, but they're getting it shipped directly to them. So really you don't have to do anything except for promote that you have a storefront. And then everything else happens in the background. Like we take care of that. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yes. I want to sign up because so there's no cost to the host per se. It's just you get a commission if somebody decides like, hey, yep, I want to buy these items. Now we change decorations for certain holidays. So Thanksgiving, I'll put some decorations up, but especially Christmas. Now, do you add that on there too? How does that work? You know?
Yep. It's very flexible. We have a team that like their sole purpose is to work on the storefront. So if you had a change, say you wanted to add your cute Christmas decor, you have a cute tree and some stuff, and people are asking you where you got it, you would just send us a note with the links to those items or even just the brand, whatever's easiest for you. Yeah. And then we would change those out. And you could even keep some of the other seasonal stuff on it if you wanted to, or you could take it off. It's really up to you, which is cool. If there's certain items you are like, you know what, I don't really want to include them, or I don't want people to know where I got them, that's fine too. It's really, you could start with 5 items on your storefront. You could start with 50 items on your storefront. So there's not a lot of rules.
That's awesome. That's really neat. And then how does that work though? Because if they're gonna send it. So if somebody says yes, you go to Shae's storefront at the neighborhood sanctuary, and they find an item, they select it, and then they can just have it shipped directly from the store to their place.
Yep, exactly. There's a couple ways that we set up products on the storefronts. A lot of it is just affiliate links. So when they see the product, then they are actually purchasing it from the brand or the manufacturer itself. And then we just get credited. It's a third party that tracks that. And then we split that commission with the host. And then we also have like wholesale partnerships and trade partnerships. On those, usually we see a little bit more margin than with setup. And for those, you would transact directly on our site, and then we would ship it, fulfill it. And then, we track the purchases on your storefront. And then you'd get like a report saying an item has been sold. This was how much it was sold for. And this is your portion of the commission. And we try and make it as simple as possible.
So that's pretty amazing. So if somebody has like this beautiful house and they host all the time, I don't host, I don't bring people over to my house. It's not my thing. But if people hosted, they could almost do it for their own primary residence, couldn't they?
Yeah, that it's not like what we started as, but there's no reason that they couldn't. I know a lot of influencers do that, right? They're like have really cool homes or doing a lot of DIY stuff, and they are linking everything in their homes. We have talked about like expanding into and actually promoting that, but for the most part, up until now, we've really focused on like short-term rentals, boutique hotels, and then recently launched for interior designers because we see a lot of interest on that side. We do all these really cool designs and people ask us where this is from or what paint color or all of these different questions. So making it easy to showcase their work and find new clients and also monetize their space in a different way.
That's really interesting. I love that idea because even office spaces, people could even do something along those lines as well. Now, you guys just started this last year, early this year, right?
Yep.
Now, did you expect it to be, because I love the idea. How did you go from the idea to the business? Because there's always, I got this idea, but there's a lot in between with affiliate marketing, proper links. Do you have to negotiate what they're willing to pay and commission payout, all of that?
Yep. So a lot of it, quite honestly, was just learning. And we had the idea. We started with a small kind of like test group. And what we did is we reached out to all of the properties that we'd ever stayed at and talked to the hosts. Basically, kind of like a survey, like, what do you think about this idea? Would you use this idea? Would you sign up for the platform? Do you have any input on it? What kind of items do people ask you about? That kind of thing. So like a lot of just research, but like within like I think we started with maybe like 20 hosts or something like that. And then as we got a little deeper, we started getting involved in some of the like industry groups and events. So there was a STR conference in Nashville a few months ago or over the summer. So we went to that and we just started networking, talking to a lot of people. And honestly, David is really good at that. He like, one of his superpowers is just like making connections, and he'll have a conversation with someone and remember what they talked about, what industry they're in, and then like months later talk to someone else and be like, oh, you should talk to John Smith, who, you know, and it's
a gift.
He's really good at that, and I try to be really good at that. So yeah, we tapped into our own networks and then the industry itself and started small. So like the people that were really interested in the storefronts, we built those. We didn't have everything figured out in the beginning. It wasn't perfect. We had to, like I said, learn some of the things as we went. Maybe this is not how the storefront should be set up. Definitely a lot of improvements were made along the way, which I think it's important that I'm not like, everything's perfect, because many people think you have to like have everything figured out, and you don't.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wanted to touch on that a little bit. And I like how you said it wasn't perfect right away. And I'm sure it's still not perfect, just like everything else in business. It's not perfect. One of my favorite, I don't know if it's a quote, but it's fire, ready, aim. Like you don't ready, aim, fire, because it's just like having a kid. You're never going to be ready. You really won't. You figure it out on the way. And then you fall forward. You don't have a plan B. You fall forward. You're going to fall on your face. You fall 7 times, get up 8. You're constantly evolving. You're constantly learning. And even if you get to the point where you feel like, yep, we're at where we need to be, life changes. The algorithms change. Like everything changes on a constant basis. So you're going to have to always be learning and always trying new things. So I really want to point that out. Don't wait until you're ready. You just have to start is really where it's at.
That's so true. It actually reminds me, there's a quote that's like the secret to like the secret to success is just getting started or something like it's true. You just kind of have to do it. Even if you're and you don't know what you're doing, you just gotta go.
Most entrepreneurs have no idea what they're doing. And I've been in the business for 7 years and I still don't know what I'm doing. No, I'm kidding. But you're always changing. You're always doing something else. So what is your website?
It's FromWhere.com.
That's easy. FromWhere.com. And because I'm definitely going to sign up for this. I feel like my stuff is not as fancy and nice as maybe some other people's and stuff, but I think it's just a great idea, because then it also encourages me to buy nice stuff inside in hopes that people would also want to purchase it.
Yeah. So two things actually. One is a lot of people say that they're like, I don't think anybody would want anything in my property. So you'd be surprised, I think. And then secondly, we recently launched like these best of guides. So it's really cool because we've taken what we see that sells well, that like guests like, that hosts are stocking in their house. So we have the bedroom one, we have a coffee corner one, and then we have like several other in the works. So that's also a way
that
hosts saying, what type of sheets should we buy, or what should we do for our guests for coffee? So just trying to help be like a resource for that as well.
Yeah, I see that on here. That's so neat. That is really cool. Just for a place for people to go for even just like quality stuff too. That is really neat. Now, what has been some of the biggest challenges that you and your husband have faced throughout this journey?
That's a good question. One of the things is just like being partners in business and partners in life, and it's just like being all the time. And I think for me, like I need like a downtime, like I need to turn off my brain sometimes, and he doesn't really need that. Like he can just keep going and like cranking. And so we've had to be like really clear about what we both need and like having that off time and just communicating that. And like now I think we're like in a better rhythm, but I don't want to be like watching a movie with the kids and then him like come and be like, so what do you like, and ask me a work question. So we're much better about that now, but just boundaries really. So that was in the beginning a little difficult because we hadn't really worked together before, and we're very different too, like in the way that we work, but we actually A lot of times we don't agree, but that's good because we bring different perspectives. We're good at different things. So I think at the end of the day, we actually complement each other very well, and our skills, we have very different skills, so we work well together.
Yeah, I feel like I'm more like your husband. My husband's more like you, where he needs that downtime. He loves the outdoors. He loves the hunting. Me, I'm like, let's go. Or I'll be watching a movie. I'm like, ooh, we need to do this. He's no, Shae, let's calm down. But yeah, I think it's great to have different perspectives, and every business and every partnership, you have to, even though sometimes those disagreements are challenging, you need to have those other perspectives to think in a different way, to think outside the box, to think differently. And then that's where the creativity comes from in all reality.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where do you see because you have what, 200 plus?
We're close to
people?
300 now.
Amazing.
Yeah, so we're close to 300. Our kind of the idea is that any place that you walk into, whether it's boutique hotel or just the Airbnb that you got in the mountains for the weekend, that any place that you go is a shoppable experience, like that you can easily figure out what it is and how to get it. Yeah,
Did you expect it to grow this fast? Because I feel like almost 300 in about a year, less than a year, is quite a bit.
It feels fast and slow at the same time. You know what I mean? We have 300 storefronts. That's really cool. We have a ton of brands that are on board now that we have partnerships with. And like every time we get something, it's like, we want to celebrate it. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, that's not enough. We need more. So
yeah,
I think, it feels slow but fast.
Always happy, never satisfied. That's something that I'm happy. I love where I'm at, but I'm like not satisfied because I know, and it's not because I'm not satisfied with our accomplishments, but it's okay, I've already achieved this. What else can I achieve? It's not about the money. It's just how much more can you do? And the more you do, the more you want to do when it comes to like success, not just success in business, but in family too. So like now I'm working on leveraging. So like bringing people in to free up more of my time so I can focus more on my family, but then also the income producing activities. What are things that I can set aside that I don't need to worry about, where I can have somebody else do it so I can actually focus on the income producing activities while freeing up my personal time to spend more with my family. Like this afternoon, we're taking the kids out of school a little bit early and we're going hunting. I'm not much of a hunter. My husband loves it. My kids enjoy it. So that's hard for me to do, but we're doing it. I'm like, ooh, but we're doing it.
Yeah. Yep. But you're taking the time, and that's what it's about, right? Being smart about all of those things. And I love that quote too, because it's very true. It's like, what's next? And sometimes I feel like we get caught up in that, where it's like, we're working on one project, say with FromWhere, and then all of a sudden we have this other great idea and we're like, let's go run and do it, but we still haven't finished what we're working on, and you're just always on to the next thing. And sometimes we have to stop ourselves and be like, let's do this. Get to that so that we can do everything thoroughly and give it the attention that it needs.
Yeah, absolutely. So where do you guys see this business going? Do you guys have like a business plan? Have you discussed where you're wanting to go? How many hosts you're wanting to have? What does that look like for you guys?
Yeah, we'd love to get as many hosts on board as we can. Once we launched and started with hosts, then we quickly had the idea, or the idea came to us rather, for the interior designer. So we jumped on that and we've been working on that. We also have a best of interior designers, which we launched, which basically identifies some of the top interior designers in a number of cities. I think we have over 50 cities now. And it's a way for the interior designers to get more exposure, but also another thing that we can offer as a resource for people. So that's been really cool. And we're also working on boutique hotels now. So that's the next thing, is that best boutique hotels angle. We have a lot of stuff, like I said, a lot of ideas, a lot of things in the works. Another really cool thing that we're working on is the ability to be able to embed storefronts onto your own website. So basically, FromWhere would power the storefront. It would all be done through us, but it's just a couple lines of code that the interior designer can plug in on their website, or a host can direct booking site, and people can see on their site directly. So that's something that's really exciting too.
That is. And then now, have you learned, because the coding, all of that, not my thing. So is that something that you handle? Do you hire somebody else to handle? Have you learned it? Because that's a lot. I mean, it's obviously very important, especially with what you're doing, but how does that work?
Great question. We have a team. So we have a developer that we work with, and David is actually very good at that stuff. I don't know. He just figured stuff out, self-taught. So I'm like I want it to look like this, and I know what I want and what I want the end page to look like. And then I'm going to pass that over and it magically gets done.
And it magically gets done. This is what I want. See, that's how I am. Like, I'm like a visionary. This is what I want. I just need somebody else to get me there because I don't know how to do those things. Exactly. I know where I want to go and what I want it to look like and all those things, but I need somebody else to like get me there.
Same. So we can't know how to do everything. We can know how to do a lot of things. So sometimes we need to outsource.
And that's why you have, even in your partnership, David can obviously do a lot of that stuff, but that's why you have to outsource though too, because you cannot be the professional in everything. Like, I'm not very good with like paperwork and attention to detail. So I have somebody else who helps me with all of that because I need help dotting the I's, crossing the T's. I know how to negotiate. I know what to negotiate. I know how to network and sell people when we're at listing appointments, all those things. But if I can have somebody else do the other things that I don't enjoy doing, that's what's so important. That's when you can focus on your income producing activities. But it takes time. It does. Yeah. A lot of trial and error. A lot of hiring, a lot of firing, probably, things like that. So it's not fun always.
Yeah. And I think like also sometimes like I feel like there's things that I used to say I didn't like to do. And now I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm good at this. So it's also just like discovering new things that maybe you like had pushed aside and thought you didn't like, or maybe it's just different now. I don't know. So that's cool too.
Yeah. And you guys have 2 little ones, right?
Yes, we have a 9-year-old daughter, almost 9. She'll be 9 in December, and a 4.5-year-old son.
Okay. Now, are they kind of part of this? I know, especially the 4-year-old, super young, but do they know what you guys are doing? Do they like to be involved? How do you include them?
Yep, they know what we're doing. The 9-year-old for sure is like super into it. I hear her talking to people about it. I'm like, that is just, she is like, it's amazing. And I get really proud when I hear her telling people like, oh yeah, my mommy and daddy, they have a website, it's FromWhere.com, and it's very cute. And then she kind of will sit with me sometimes and she'll want to know what I'm working on. So I'll show her. And 4-year-old, he's not that into it.
No. And he's super young. But honestly, like, kids can be the best promoters. And my kids do an amazing job. And they're so funny because they're like, Mom, we're famous. I'm like, what are you talking about? Everybody knows you, so they know us. And then they like to wear our business t-shirts, or I got kids, so like I help coach their sports too, so I bought a bunch of like water bottles, handing those out, and they're like love handing it to their friends. Kids are the best promoters, they really are. But it's fun to hear them talk about it too.
And they're cute, so they can get away with anything, and it just feels more organic when it comes from kids.
It does. I have a client who, I swear, like, her little boy, if I just gave him all of my merchandise, he would just wear it all day, every day. It is the cutest thing. I don't know what his obsession is with me or whatever, but it is the cutest thing. I'm like, you take it away. You go wear that shirt. You go wear that handbag. You go wear right with those pens. It's just the cutest thing. It's so much fun getting kids involved too.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so your website is FromWhere.com, and it doesn't cost anything for a host to sign up. Tell me kind of like the process of what it looks like for somebody to sign up.
If you went onto the website, there's like a little tab for host and designer registration. You would just fill that out. I think it's like your name, the primary listing URL, if you're an interior designer or host, like what you do, email, phone, maybe. I don't even know if it asks.
Yep. Actually. It has phone number on here too.
And you fill it out and you'll get like a confirmation email that the URL goes to our team. They start building your storefront. The confirmation email you get also asks for a few more details. Like it says, if you use certain linens, please send those to us so we can add them to your storefront. And then we send you the preview of your storefront. You get that usually like within 2 days, sometimes the same day. You get a preview of it. And then, like I said, you can say if you want to add anything, change anything, this is right. Can you add these 3 things? You can just send us like in any form, really, if it's links, or if you maybe, a lot of people have like spreadsheets of everything that they have in their properties that we can work off of that too. We've had people like send us, forward us hundreds of emails with things. Not ideal, but we can work with that.
Not ideal. Yeah. Okay, because I'm going through the process now. That's why I'm looking this other direction. Is it, so like my Airbnb link, can I just send you that?
Yep. Yep, just
Okay.
the link to
So
your, it
something
can
is
be like a direct booking site, or it can
right.
be whatever it is, just as
Right.
long as it has like pictures of your property. And then, yeah, then basically we get in touch with you. You approve your storefront, and then it's live. And then we send you the QR code and your storefront code so people can shop it and you can put those in your property. And another thing that's important is the more that you promote it as a host, the more people you're going to get
Yeah.
to your storefront, obviously. We see if people are actually placing the QR codes in their
Yep.
properties, if they
Mhm.
are mentioning it in some of their messaging, maybe they're putting it in their auto messaging, like if you like anything in our space or you want to shop our space, like you can do so
Right.
here.
Yeah.
Even in a thank you type thing, or obviously if somebody asks like, hey, we really like your sheets or your pillows, like where did you get them, instead of just answering that, sending the storefront link.
That's really neat because yeah, I've already thought about it. Like you could have it the QR code because you said you send a QR code. Yeah, you could have the QR code right at the sign-in sheet. I would also have it like in by the kitchen, and then yeah, when you do the auto messages through Airbnb and VRBO, you could just add in there if there's anything that you're interested in purchasing, visit our storefront and then go to that link. Yeah, super easy. It's awesome. That's amazing. So I already registered while we're here on the podcast. I don't waste any time. I just go. Again, trial and error. You got to figure it out. You do it. It works. It doesn't. Whatever it is. So Nisha, what is one piece of advice that you would give to your younger self, or maybe somebody who's looking to get into the business or entrepreneurship?
Sure. I was actually recently asked this question, so I have to use the same answer because it really just is right for me.
Yeah.
And that's, don't be afraid to make mistakes, because like we were talking about earlier, sometimes you just have to do something to figure it out. And maybe you're going to mess it up the first time, or maybe, you know what, you're going to make a mistake, but it's going to turn out to be a good thing. You just really don't know. And when you say like your younger self, that like really resonates with me, because as a kid, like I remember being afraid to do things if it was going to be wrong, or if I wasn't going to be good at it. And I have to find my kids now, like especially my daughter, you are not going to be good at something the first time you try it. She's like, this person's so good at that. And I'm like, they practiced for a long time. That's why they're good at it. They tried. And so I think you just need to put yourself out there, and you can't be afraid to mess something up or do something wrong. Or
yeah, I didn't realize how much that it probably affected me growing up too, but I see it in my kids too, that they're afraid to try something because they don't want to be bad. They don't want to make a mistake. And my son, he's very athletic, but he allows his fear of losing to get in the way. Like he does not want to, like wrestling, not his thing, never has been, but I think he could be so good at it, but he is so fearful of losing. And wrestling is like a one-on-one. It's not like a team one. So it's a lot more pressure on how good you are. You know what I mean? So I think he's so fearful of losing, even though I feel like he could just because he's got the talent. He just has to believe in himself. And that's what we're working on. And we're starting to see it. He just turned 9. So we're starting to see it little by little that he's gaining a lot more confidence, and he's taking constructive criticism in a much better way versus, oh, I can't do it, so I'm not going to even try.
Yep.
But it's big. You do notice it as a parent as you get older.
Yeah. And even as an adult, you have to remind yourself too, right? Just do it.
Just do it. I always say this. Nike said it best. I didn't realize how on point Nike was until within the last couple years. I'm like, duh, just Nike, just do it.
Yep.
They knew what they were doing when they made that their slogan, because it's just do it. I'm like, I wish I could have that tagline, but I do, because it's just brilliant. It's brilliant. Yeah.
Borrow it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna borrow it just a little bit. EXP Realty, just do it. Or FromWhere, just do it. So Nisha, thank you for joining us today. Where is somewhere that they can go? Obviously, your website. Do you have social media platforms that they could follow you on, get acquainted with there?
The website, obviously, FromWhere.com. On socials, so we're on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Pinterest, and we're at FromWhere Finds. FromWhere was taken. Okay. So FromWhere Finds.
There's always something taken, I swear.
I know.
No, that is awesome. Your creativity, your vision, and your commitment, obviously, to making design accessible and meaningful are such a powerful reminder that motherhood doesn't limit us, it refines us. So to our listeners, you are resilient, you are capable, and you are absolutely made for an abundant life. You've got this, so keep going.
Love that.
And that wraps up another inspiring episode of the Real Moms Podcast. A huge thank you to our incredible guests for sharing their story and insights today. If you found value in today's conversation, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And hey, sharing is caring, right? Share this podcast with your fellow mompreneurs, friends, and anyone who you feel could use a dose of inspiration. Share it on your social media as well. But most importantly, if you found this episode helpful, please leave me a 5-star review. This helps get our information out to those who have never heard or seen us before. Are you feeling inspired and you're sure that you could add some value to the podcast? Shoot me a message and let's talk. We love hearing from you. So connect with us on social media. Tag me at Shae J Spitz, that's ShaeJSpitz, and share your thoughts and takeaways, or even suggest topics you'd like to have us explore more in the future episodes. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. Your resilience is your strength, and your pursuit of abundant living is truly remarkable. As always, keep thriving, keep growing, and keep embracing the beautiful chaos of being a mompreneur. Until next time, take care, stay real, and keep living abundantly.